Get a £5 free bet every week with Offer Club from William Hill. Simply stake a total of £20 or more across the week on pre-match football accumulators with 4 or more selections, and you'll get a £5 free bet on the Friday. Join William Hill Offer Club on mobile or online now.
Complain about it sometimes, and then sometimes not complain about it. Because Sean Porter, for example, fights like that every fight. So you can't DQ Sean Porter every time he fights. You know what I mean? Like just like the way you can't DQ guys in this kind of a fight. You know what I mean? It's just part of it. I'm not complaining about it at all. Sometimes it's just part of the game. You know what I mean? And you gotta figure out a way. If guys will start throwing headbutts like this, or literally showing your elbow, okay, you know what I mean? Like you gotta give one. But that kind of rough stuff, that's part of the game. And fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, you're gonna have to figure out a way to deal with it.
What do you think about the adjustments? I asked 10 people and I get 10 different scorecards.
Because it's that kind of a fight. It's that kind of a fight. It depends on what you appreciate. You also have to understand what's going on in there to a degree. I mean, for me, I don't think a lot of people can understand what I just explained to you guys. It's so deep. It's so deep in the moment.
Do you have to be a fighter to understand it?
I don't know. I mean, because I don't know what it's like to not be a fighter. You know what I mean? So I don't know what it's. I can't tell you. Oh, you got to be a fighter to understand it, because I don't know what the other side would feel without ever having stepped in the ring. I don't know. So I have my perspective, my view from my experience, but it doesn't mean like, oh, nobody's allowed to have a perspective. No, it just doesn't mean that. But at the same time, I can give you my perspective and why I have my perspective and why I'm talking to you this way based on my life, and based on what I've seen and experienced, and also what I've seen. It's not just what I've experienced.
Does anybody lose tonight? I mean,
I hope not. I hope people can at least appreciate this fight, and I love to see a rematch. I feel like Sergey deserves it. And I feel like both guys fought their hearts out, and I would like to see a rematch.
What did you think about the adjustments that
Andre showed a lot? What did you think you saw from Sergey tonight?
Same thing. I thought Sergey faded a little bit late, but he stuck with it, man. He didn't say what's going on over here. He's still listening to John David Jackson, giving him good instructions in the corner. John David Jackson, I saw the instructions from both corners, good instructions. Virgil was very motivating to Andre because he felt like it was time to motivate his fighter because he'd been down. It wasn't so much tactical. But honestly, the knockdown in the second round, I didn't think it was a tactical error at all. Like when I saw the knockdown, Andre's looking to counter over the top of the jab. He's rolling on the top of the jab, and he's looking to counter with a right hand. But sometimes when you make this move, the risk you take when you make this move, and I've made the same move sometimes. I've never played with it I've never played with a knockdown, but it's the same move we all make. We roll on the jab, it flies over our shoulder, and this guy's stepping in with his jab. So when you come over the top with the right hand, he's right there. The risk you take when doing that is sometimes the guy's coming with a 1-2 and not with a jab. So in the moment it takes you to roll and come back with yours, a 1-2 is a straight combination. So he's gonna get there first because his momentum is coming forward. So what happened there? Andre made the right move if it was a single jab. But you can't time. In the moment you don't know if it's gonna be a 1-2 or just a jab. A guy can disguise it very well. So Andre expected a single jab, roll and counter. It would have been a great counter because he made the right move, the perfect move, and he made it at the right time. If you look at it, he timed it perfectly. The only thing is, Sergey came with a 1-2. So Sergey's right hand beats him to the spot. Why? Because when you make this move, you gotta rock back first. You gotta make the move, you gotta rock. So the rocking back makes you lose a split second to the right hand that's already on its way. So you gotta run into it. So in reality, he didn't do anything wrong. He just misinterpreted the move. So he didn't need tactical advice. What he needed to be was motivated. And how did Virgil Hunter know that too? Because also Virgil Hunter has been with the guy for 20 years. So you're a fighter as a fighter, and you know him as a man. So you know what it takes in that moment. Okay, what do I got to tell him in this moment? It's not tactical advice, because you don't want him to doubt his tactics. His tactics are correct, and obviously they ended up being correct. So you don't want to give him tactical advice in that moment. You got to motivate him to let him know that it's going to be okay, and you got to get your charge going. From the same token, John David Jackson was giving good advice to Sergey. Trying to create that distance, create that space. Let your punches dictate from the outside. Because there's moments when you're on the outside, you got to land. But Sergey was having trouble landing it cleanly after that second round. Because without that mistake from Andre, and again, I want to call it a mistake again. I just explained to you why it's not a mistake. But without Andre's cooperation, Sergey was having a lot of trouble landing a clean shot.
It seemed like after 4 or 5 rounds, Sergey wasn't throwing the jab, but the jab was really keeping.
Sergey came and went with the jab. It was moments where he came back and it was heavy. But there was times I felt like when Sergey couldn't land it, he would just stop using it. You don't want to stop using the jab. You just want to change the rhythm.
That cost him the fight. He would have kept using it.
It could have, but at the same time, if you're not using a correct jab, you may get countered on top of it too. So the thing about a jab, you got to use it correctly. The jab is a simple punch, but if you start showing the same one or doing the same thing or throwing it the same way, you're gonna start getting countered over the top of it or underneath it even. You know what I mean? So sometimes guys go away from it because they don't feel confident in it. Maybe they feel like they might start getting countered. Andre will give you those looks to where he'll make you feel like you're risking throwing something if you throw it at the wrong time. So I don't know what was going through Sergey's mind. It's possible. I'm just telling you possibilities that might have been going through guys' minds in the moments. Again, it's a little deeper to understand, and I don't expect everybody to understand it to that depth. But I just hope people understand it enough to be happy with the fight, no matter who you thought won the fight, and hopefully we get a rematch.
On the scorecard, Ward dominated the second half of the fight. What adjustments do you think he made to be able to do that?
Well, first of all, he never stopped trying to win the fight. He never stopped trying to boss the fight. So he wanted to take the mental play away from Sergey. And also, it wasn't really the adjustment because I don't think there was anything wrong with his tactics to begin with. It was about him staying with his game plan. I think he made it a very physical fight. I don't know if that was always the plan because in round one, you're not going to come out in round one and go right into the guy's chest, right? So you're gonna find out if it was going to be a physical fight after a few rounds once he's warmed up. Because the first round, you're going to come out, you're going to get in your stance, and you're going to see what's going on. You know what I mean? So I don't know if being physical was always the game plan or if it became the game plan once he got knocked down. We'll never know because he got knocked down and that's the way it played out. I do feel being physical was always part of the game plan. I don't know if it was that much part of the game plan. I don't know. We'll never know now because he got knocked down around 2 and we saw what he did afterwards. So I don't know. Either my biggest impression was again the way he stayed committed to the fight. He didn't just stay in the fight because you can stay in the fight. Sometimes you get in there, you get up and you're tough and you stay in the fight because it's your responsibility. He stayed in the fight and then he stayed committed to winning the fight.
Theoretically, how difficult is it to stay committed when you're down in round 2?
It's very difficult. Like I said before, you had a guy who's known as a destroyer. You got a guy who's being watched by 20,000 people screaming at you, been down. A guy who finishes guys, and you're on the canvas getting up, looking at him across the ring. That's what's waiting for you. The guy you know is a destroyer. Your mind is gonna mess with you in that moment. Most guys are finished right there. It's so difficult to overcome that particular moment. That moment right there finishes fights because fighters beat themselves in that moment. So he stayed committed, and you win the next round, you get a little bit more confidence. You touch him, you get through another round where he doesn't touch you much, and little by little you start believing again. You know what I mean? And maybe the other guy you might have a little bit of doubt creeping in the other guy. Right. Again, it's a mental battle as much as a physical battle. It's a war that's won with little battles, just like a real war. The wars are won with little battles. Right? There's little battles going on every minute of every round.
We see Floyd always dominate. Like when we think pound for pound, we feel domination. Ward had to go through a lot of adversity tonight. Is that even build even more of a pound for pound champion?
No, it's just here's the thing. Even when Floyd makes it look easy, it doesn't mean he's not having moments of trouble. He just knows how to turn it around and make it look easy. I felt like Floyd and the Jose Luis Castillo fights had two very difficult fights. Even if he made the second one look look easy. If you watch the second Jose Luis Castillo fight, he's suffering through it. He's just managing to win every single round, but he's suffering through every single round. So again, I feel like adversity is only recognized by certain people too. It's great to play the role though. Floyd will make it look easy, but it's not always that easy. Even the Jesus Chavez fight, if you remember, he's down 3 rounds to none, and the guy's throwing 100 punches a round. You don't know if this guy's gonna keep throwing as many punches. What the hell's going on over here? Stay committed to the win, start wearing them down. So it's different. There's different points of creating doubt and having to overcome that.
After Ward got knocked down, I noticed he committed to the body attack. And from the mind of a fighter, how risky is that when he's dealing with a killer?
Well, he committed to the body attack, but he committed to the body attack at real close range. Like it wasn't like it was anything effective, I thought, but it was like just to show him like on the way out, just smack him, and then smack him. He just smack him. It wasn't really doing it. But what you're doing is you're showing the mean intention. Like break. You know what I mean? Now you're breaking. The guy's like, damn, this guy's still here to win. He's mean. You know what I mean? Like I'm telling you, it sounds so stupid. But it plays into every little bit plays on the mind. It's crazy, because what you're thinking on your break is like, this guy ain't going nowhere right now. This guy's staying here. This guy's here to stay for a little while longer. You know what I mean? So pack your lunch because the night's not over. You know what I mean? So again, that plays on your mind. I'm speaking of adversity again. Even through the years going back to the adversity, Sugar Ray Leonard was behind against Tommy Hearns. You know what I mean? So we've seen adversity, and sometimes
just been spoiled by how.
Of course. of course, sometimes you get spoiled. But even like I said, even before that scene adversity, you just have to understand the kind of adversity it was in the moment. You know what I mean? Like, he hurt his hands in some fights. So you gotta understand the type of adversity you're dealing with in certain moments. It's different kinds of adversity. Again, adversity is not always coming up off the canvas. That's easy adversity. I ain't easy to overcome. I'm saying it's easy to recognize, but it's not easy adversity. But what I'm saying is it's easy to recognize by everybody. Okay, he's going through adversity. He's down. It's the little subtle adversities that are there too that people don't always recognize.
Paulie, breaking down so perfect.
Thank you.